Hi, this is Daniel with Art Cyclery, and today I'm going to show you how to adjust a SRAM road derailleur. So the first step is to make sure that the derailleur is shifted all the way down to the smallest cog. So adjusting a rear derailleur is pretty simple, and all mechanical rear derailleurs follow the same basic principles. You have a low limit adjustment, a high limit adjustment, your cable tension fine adjustment. The coarse adjustment is done here at the clamp. And then there's the B tension adjustment screw, which is here. The main things you're going to be concerned with are the low, high, and cable tension adjustment. The cable tension adjustment handles your indexing between the gears. The first thing we want to do is to turn this barrel adjuster all the way in so that we can adjust our cable at the anchor and still have some room to adjust it later. We want to adjust our high limit, one marked H here, and you'll notice that as the screw turns in, you can see that derailleur moving inboard. Now we want it to be lined up with the cog that it's under, but just barely outboard, and that'll help the derailleur to shift into that cog a little bit easier. All right, so now that we have that set, we can adjust our cable tension. So that's done by first loosening this cable anchor, pulling the cable tight, and then tightening it back down. So you want to get down into the 4th or 5th cog, and what we'll do is we'll use this adjuster here to control the index on the derailleur. So you can see how turning this, making the cable tighter, will move the derailleur inboard, making it looser or turning it clockwise is going to move it outboard. So what you want to do on a SRAM derailleur is get it pretty much lined up underneath the cog, maybe just barely outboard. The only way you're going to really be able to know for sure if you have it right is you can't just eyeball it. You're going to have to go through and do some practice shifts and just make sure that it's going consistently. And this one's working really good. Now we're going to shift the derailleur up to the large cog and set our lower limit. So of course we'll be adjusting that screw marked L with our 2.5mm Allen. If you turn that screw in, you'll see the derailleur will start to move outboard. Okay, so that's what that adjustment screw does. So what we want to do first is just eyeball the pulley, get it to line up underneath this large cog. And you want to have just a little bit of extra room to move past there without it going into the spokes. The reason for that is that SRAM uses what they call double tap technology, and that's in a shifter. The first click, if you just do one click, it'll shift down into this next cog, but if you do 2 clicks, then it'll shift into a cog that's lower. Thing is there's no lower cog to this one, so what SRAM did is they built in a fail-safe on that. So if you try to click and you get that second click, the derailleur just won't actually go. It'll move over just a tiny bit, but it'll keep it in that gear. So you can kind of experiment with that limit and see what you need to do to adjust that limit and have that fail-safe work without it shifting into the spokes. So that's something that is just kind of a trial and error thing. If it does get over into the spokes, just grab the brake, pull the chain back out, and then play around with it some more. And after a while, you'll figure out how to do it without ever shifting it into the spokes. Next, we're going to adjust our B tension screw. So that's going to adjust the angle of the derailleur relative to the cogs. So you'll see turning it in brings it down, turn it out brings it up. Okay, so the sweet spot we're looking for is we want to have the cog pretty close, the pulley on the derailleur close to this cog, as close as it can without it really dragging or getting up above this parallel line that you could draw with the chainstay. So right about here is good. Having it up tight is going to allow the chain to shift faster and is also going to make your chain and cassette last longer. So that's how to adjust a SRAM road rear derailleur. If you have any questions, email us at info@artcyclery or give us a call.